when you see a band that you like decide we're going to leave all that behind to do something experimental,
Well, I mean,
I always get pissed off when that happens.
Radiohead have always struck me as, from the art school anyway, and there's probably a lot more talking than doing in the studio. You know what I mean? They would probably discuss it a lot before they do it.
Yeah.
And I'm always from the other school. It's just like, I'm not as proficient a musician as any of those people, so I pretty much have been winging it for the last 25 years.
You're
and I
such
play
a
what I play, and
natural.
that's it.
You're such a natural
But you are-
songwriter.
whenever
You
you
really
are-
do
you're-
come up with like a definitive fucking riff and line, and then the melodies. They're soaring melodies. I mean, they're just so catchy sing-along choruses. Even with, I mean, you know.
But I think melody is looked down on a bit.
Yeah.
You know, especially by critics, obviously. That if there's, like, for example, to choose a band that are not as big as Oasis or whatever, but I like the Stereophonics. But you only read bad reviews of the Stereophonics. Yeah. And the reason they say, these critics, that they're bad is, all they're doing here is doing, you know, songs that you can hum along to, and blah, blah, blah. And you think, like, no, that's not very easy.
Same with you. Same with you too. I love you too, and they get slated all over the world. Well, not all over the world, particularly in England.
Well, some of that is like they're not John Peel. You know, so they would do it there. And some of it is Bono. Yeah. Like, you know,
wearing the high heel shoes.
Well, no, just people. People
shoes.
Turn against someone's art because of how they think they behave in public, or you know. No. But even take a huge band like the Beatles, the myth that went round, like that John Lennon was the genius and Paul. It's just nonsense. Paul McCartney had the tunes.
For sure.
Or you go down a Beatles thing and you look at the fucking big hitters. And they're McCartney's tunes.
Totally.
And Lennon was a genius, but he was very different.
He wrote some good tunes as well.
He did. He was great, you know.
But McCartney had the greatest tunes. But I think this about Bowie, because I think that Bowie is slightly misunderstood from that point of view, in that obviously Bowie did amazing stuff with the characterizations and the shape-shifting and the clothes and all that stuff, but all of that would be meaningless without the tunes.
Well, the day that he died, and you're listening to the radio all day, nobody mentioned the songs.
Yeah.
It was all about the fashion and this,
and he
changed
androgyny,
and he did this, and he
pushed
about
art,
and
I'm
thinking, well, that's all great, and I went to see the exhibition, and that's all great, and like, it's the shoes and all that kind of thing. But really, at the end of the day, if it's not for Starman,
exactly.
Come on.
There's an American act who you might have heard of called Jabriath. Have you heard of him? Now, Jabrath is Bowie without the tunes.
Right.
And so therefore, he did one album and then I think he killed himself. That maybe nothing to do with it. But basically, he's not a big, important figure.